Shelley Carney and Toby Eunice bring you New Mexico Day Trips. Visit national parks, monuments, state parks, and historical sites. See the amazing and unique desert vistas of the Land of Enchantment and walk through the visitor centers, museums, and Pueblo ruins with us. Enjoy the sights, sounds, and flavors of New Mexico. Let's have an adventure. Hello and welcome to New Mexico Day Trips. I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Tonight we're going to be doing part 2 of our Ghost Ranch adventure.
Ghost Ranch adventure, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah. And that's why I wear my shirt for tonight, because we went to the Paleontology Museum to see coelophysis, which is the state fossil of New Mexico.
And I finally did find the book about it. I'll mention it. It mentioned in the video, but I was looking for a book on the topic of the fossils in and around Ghost Ranch, and I found one, and it's called "The Little Dinosaurs of Ghost Ranch," and it refers specifically to the coelophysis.
That's right.
Because the coelophysis has this wonderful story to go with it.
And it was discovered right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did not. There was no fossil. There have been since. But there was no fossil recovery of a coelophysis-like dinosaur prior to the ones that were discovered in New Mexico.
From that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and it was, we've got pictures
dinos.
of it. They're big dog size.
Yeah, kind of like Dino on the Flintstones.
You have the strangest memory when it comes to this stuff. All right, wait, let me do my pitch here. We would appreciate it if before you leave tonight, you would take the time to like our video. YouTube likes it when you like our video. Share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social media network so that we can grow the channel. Finally, if you are not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to subscribe. That way, whenever we start a live stream, you'll be immediately informed and as a result,
in the know.
Because there's nothing better in life, ladies and gentlemen, than being in the know.
Did you know that we have a website for New Mexico Day Trips? So if you just go to nmdaytrips.com,
I'm going to do that for you right now.
You can go there, and on that site we have blog posts that we write. We have 2 different kinds of blog posts. Some of them are just thoughts about traveling and our lives and what's going on, and then others of them are very focused on one of our day trips. So let's take a look at those blog posts.
So this is the front page of our website.
There you go.
And it gives you the opportunity to browse our content with photos, videos, and a blog. And then Shelley is an outstanding, for those of you that aren't aware of this, Shelley is an outstanding writer. And so she had been putting our blog posts on LinkedIn, but she thought it was a great idea if we just created that blog and put it on our website. And so you'll see all of these stories that Shelley has written about our day trips, and she makes them very personal. That's what I like about them. She talks about us, and what the context is the location we're at, but it's about us. So
yeah, but each one that's about a location, a day trip, will also contain all the information that you might need, such as the address and phone number and hours and all of the information about that particular spot, as well as what we saw there.
And that website, nmdaytrips.com, is scrolling by on the screen below. So if you want to get there and visit, what does Mary Green say? Mary Green says,
howdy.
Howdy.
Just like Minnie Pearl.
So I'm going to take that off the screen.
Do we have any other show and tell we want to do?
Not till we get to pictures. I do.
That one?
Yeah, I guess we want to talk about that for just a second. All right. So as of tomorrow, we are starting a new channel. And the new channel is
a revamped channel.
Well, yeah, I guess that what it is. It's the new channel is going to be on our old A Gypsy's Kiss channel. And it's been renamed to Garage Prospecting.
So if you're still subscribed to A Gypsy's Kiss channel, you'll be subscribed already.
Yeah. So, and we would appreciate it if you keep your subscription.
Yeah.
Lorraine says,
hi, Toby, Shelley, and Mary.
Yeah. Good to see you, Lorraine. Thanks for joining us tonight. So this new channel, Garage Prospecting, is on top of the old Gypsy's Kiss channel. So if you subscribe to AGK, you'll be subscribed to this one. Now, if you don't want to be subscribed to this one, you're perfectly welcome to
just forget that it's even there.
Yeah,
just
don't let it bother you. But it was based. So I'm going to tell a story that Shelley hasn't even heard.
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna tell you why I've established this new channel. But first, let me show you the video from this new channel. Okay, so I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna add to the stream, and this is just a video that promotes our tomorrow night's show. We'll talk about it after you guys watch the video.
I don't think they can hear it unless you enabled the audio. What do I have to do? I have to go here. I have to go to present. I have to share screen. And then I have to share that screen, and I have to share the system audio. And then when you're done, make sure you stop doing all of that. Otherwise, we get an echo when we play our intros and outros and stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, just remind me when I'm done.
I'll try.
Okay. So here we go. Pro tip. Okay. So we're going to add this to the stream, and then we're going to play this video. Okay. It's actually not a video. It's what YouTube calls a short.
So it's less than a minute.
Okay.
You got to turn the audio on.
Where's it on? Where's the audio on here? There it is. Right here. Stream on Thursday at 7 p.m. I'm going to refresh that so you can see it. Hey, everybody. This is Toby Eunice with Garage Prospecting, and I promised you that we were going to have a unboxing live stream on Thursday at 7 p.m. on Garage Prospecting, but I wanted to give you a preview of kind of what you can expect to see that day, and that is the opening of all these boxes. So you can see quite a lot of the stuff, but it's based on my experience in the military, where I found out that you never go into an engagement without having the proper equipment. So I figured I'd take a little bit of my savings and invest it in the proper equipment. And this all started as a result of a conversation with a gentleman. I didn't realize I cut my...
Coulter Young of Mining Magnets, and he will be on with us a week from Thursday to talk about the equipment that he produces. Okay, see you then.
It's because that light was behind your head, I think, and you were.
Hey, everybody, this is Toby Eunice with Garage Prospecting.
We don't need to see
that. There you go.
All right.
Make sure you close that.
So how do I turn off the audio? Do I have to go
remove
back?
It again? There you go.
So share screen, selected.
It's fine now. It's off.
Oh, I see.
But you just had to remove it.
Right. So I promised I'd tell you a story that Shelley hasn't heard. So back in the early 1980s, I had a friend from, I don't know what song. It's the new Windows 11. It just.
I was wondering what that test page was.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So I had a friend who was originally from West Virginia, lived in the Washington metropolitan area, and we used to go trout fishing together. And then one day we were talking about stuff, and he couldn't go trout fishing one weekend. I said, "Oh, what are you up to?" And he says, "I'm going to go prospecting for gold." And I said, "Prospecting for gold? Like what?" And he said, "You want to come?" And I said, "Okay." My family would let me go on. They let me go fishing. I don't see why they'd let me not let me go gold prospecting. So I went with him. He loaned me a pan. He showed me where in the river it was. I'm trying to remember the name of the river. It wasn't the Yakima.
Abiquiu?
No, it was one of those West Virginia names. Anyway, so we went on the river, and by the end of the day, I would say that I had a little tiny vial filled with water and about 20 gold flakes that I found myself. that I dug out of the ground, put it in the pan, washed it with pan and and got the gold out of it, right? And put it in a little tiny vial that he gave me that also had water in it, because the water magnified the size of the gold. That's what it was. But honestly, I was hooked. So we planned a vacation. I planned a vacation for my family that took us to the Lake Tahoe area. And I've said, hey, we were going to this beautiful place in Lake Tahoe. And they said,
Ooh,
Lake Tahoe,
tacos, yay!
yes. And they said, what are you going to do there? And I said, well, you're going to be at a resort. There's the lake, there's fishing, there's boating, there's the lake. There's
bears,
and there's bears. Yeah, there's bears, and there's also some gold prospecting. They're going like gold prospecting. Whoever heard of that? So we took them, and by this time I had bought some pans, got all the kids hooked on it, and you got to remember this was like the early family, the 3 older ones, because we hadn't had the babies yet, and the baby girls. And got everybody hooked. I think, like I said, I bought some pans. I bought an aluminum sluice. We took that all with us, literally drove across the country and went there. And we spent a week in Lake Tahoe. And then there was another week down in Southern California, Disneyland, SeaWorld, beach, because they're all beach girls, beach kids. Anyway, so we found some more gold. Everybody found a tiny little bit of gold, and I was really hooked on it. And then we came back home and I got busy with the rest of my life. And I never got to get serious about it again. It was just something that was a 1-week wonder, and I was always fascinated with it. When I moved to New Mexico, my dad, I remember my dad always saying is, you can put a pan in any wash in New Mexico and you're going to find some gold. Here's what I discovered. Most of the gold that was in New Mexico in placer deposits really isn't there anymore. Most of it has been dug up. But it is pretty true that if you take a pan full of sand from any of the dry washes here in New Mexico and you pan it out, you're going to see a couple of flakes of gold. So I had a pan and I wanted to show, I said that in front of my grandsons one time, and they all made fun of me, like, Dad, please. So I had to take them out. And just on a whim, I picked a sand wash out near Galisteo, which of course gave me an advantage because it was in the Ortiz Mountains. And I showed them, see, you can pan, here's some gold, right? And sure enough, there was not enough to make you rich, but there was a couple of flakes of gold. And I think they still have some of those. Gave them one of the little vials with water in it. Actually, I put glycerin in it because it magnifies it even further, and gave them that gold. And so that was the last time I did anything with that. I think I went to Mama's Minerals here in Albuquerque and bought a sluice, and I never used it. Anyway, I've always had an interest in this, and about a month ago, I happened to be tuning through my YouTube videos, and there was one done by a gentleman whose name is Coulter Young. And Coulter, it's hard to tell whether he's just a country boy with smarts or he's actually a engineer that talks like he's from the country, right? And he had this equipment that he had designed himself and that he was making on 3D printers. And I thought it was terribly ingenious. So I gave him a call. I started by contacting him on his website, and I said I had some questions about his packaging. Like, I couldn't quite understand what I was getting in the package. And so he called me back, and we talked for that first time. I think we talked for about 2 hours. Anyway, I ended up buying some equipment from him. He sent me some bags of what is referred to as pay dirt. That means that people have taken dirt that they've dug up at a location that has gold, put it in a bag, they sell it to you, you process it, and ideally there's gold in the pay dirt that you recover yourselves. But I got so hooked on it, I decided that there was some other equipment that I needed to purchase. So I literally dipped into my savings, and I spent, I'm going to guess, around $1,000 getting equipment that related to prospecting for gold. At the same time, I came to the conclusion that I really don't want to prospect. Shelley and I have something really good going with New Mexico day trips, and that doesn't make room for a lot of other things, right? Especially traveling. And I have fun with those. I don't want to give that up. So I thought, what are the options? And what I found was that there's YouTubers who don't go out although some of them do, some of them are additional gold prospectors, but they buy this pay dirt and they process it in their garage or in their backyard, depending on where they live. So I thought, that's a pretty cool way to do this. So I wanted to, Shelley and I talked about it. I brought it up probably more times than she cares to remember. And little by little, not that I needed to convince her, I would have done it alone if I didn't have her, but it's always more fun for me when Shelley decides to participate in whatever phase, if you will, I'm going through. So I finally asked her or suggested to her, and I wanted her approval in all this, because if I don't have her approval, I feel like I'm like I'm going off the ranch, right? And I don't want to do that. And so I finally got her kind of preliminary approval to try this out. She knew I was going to spend money, but she knows that whenever I go through one of these phases, I spend money. Now, I want you to know that comes from money that I put away for, not necessarily for the express purpose of supporting my craziness, but for the express purpose of if there's something I want to do, I can do it. And it's not going to, I'm not going to go into debt over it. So I went and bought this equipment, and we made some changes to the channel. And we're going to start. The first show is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on the Garage Prospecting channel, and we're going to open up. We're going to do a live stream. We modified some of our equipment so that we can do a live stream opening up all the equipment that I purchased. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why I purchased each one of the things. There were some things that I kind of over purchased, like I did overkill. Instead of buying one set of classifiers, I bought 4 sets of classifiers. And I'm not sure why yet, but at least I'll open them up, and maybe by the time I'm done, you guys can make recommendations as to why I should have more than one set of classifiers. But the basis for all of this is going to be Coulter's equipment. He actually said he's going to show up tomorrow night. Is going to be the basis of Coulter's equipment because he has what's referred to as a mini cleanup sluice that he designed and printed out of a 3D printing machine. And then he has another device that he kind of invented, because I've never seen anything like that. And it's a device that extracts the magnetite from the pay dirt that you're going to process. And that's a big deal, because magnetite basically screws up your panning, because that's what at the end they refer to as black sand. And black sand actually consists of 2 different minerals. One is hematite, which is non-magnetic, and the other is magnetite, which is magnetic. And he designed a system that pulls all the magnetite out of your pay dirt before you go to processing. In addition to that, I bought something called a spiral wheel made by a company called Desert Fox, but that's not going to be here till Monday, so I won't be able to show it tomorrow night. Anyway, the plan for garage prospecting is that every week I'm going to get a pack of pay dirt. I'll either buy it, or apparently these guys who sell the pay dirt like when they get reviews. So I'll either buy it, or hopefully they'll send some to me. And I will process it, make a video processing of the garage. Then we'll do a live stream to do it like we do here, where we present that video of the processing. And that's where we're going with that project. And so if you have any interest in prospecting for gold, especially if you don't want to leave the comfort of your warmed garage, watch us, so you'll see what we're doing and the equipment that we're doing it with. And honestly, I'll be learning along the way. I mean, I plan to make every mistake that can possibly be made doing this, because the last time I did this was with my grandchildren, probably sometime in the early 2010s. And then that was just one. So I am by no stretch of the imagination an expert in these matters. I'm learning as usual, but I'm counting on Coulter, who's been very helpful in all of this to get me through the process.
Maureen has the same question that Jared had.
What was that?
Put it up there. It's the last thing on there.
She says she was born in West Virginia.
That's
I
Mary.
loved West Virginia. I used to love to go there. There's a river up there. It's not the Yakima. It's got something like that we went to.
What do you do with the dirt when you're done?
Okay. So, the pay dirt, you mean, after you've extracted the gold, I noticed that there's some of the people that do this on YouTube, and they have containers for everything. So here's the first thing that you know about people that do this. they don't ever trust that they've gotten all the gold. So they're making an assumption that if a better device for extracting gold from pay dirt comes out, they want to have that pay dirt to try it again. The black sand is the same way, either hematite or magnetite. They want to save that someplace so that you can, so that they can, if the better equipment comes out, they can they call it the process, run it again, right? Sluice it again or reduce it again or whatever. They want to do that again. So a lot of them save that stuff. Me, on the other hand, although I might save some of the hematite and some of the magnetite, a little bit of it just for specimen purposes. The rest of the stuff I'll just put in the backyard in the plant, my little planter thing. So, and it's not much, these bags, although I did get one of the orders I got was from a company that sent me 4 pounds worth. And the reason I ordered the 4 pounds is it was real cheap. There was no guarantees and I needed something to learn on, right? I needed something to try this out so I could get a sense of how it all worked. So what does John say? You put it in a Dixie cup with lima beans, with a lima bean. You could very well. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't plant stuff in it, but it actually, once the gold is extracted from it, however much it is, it doesn't have any value except to the person that is convinced themselves. I could probably run this again, or maybe I need to pan it differently. And I see a lot of that in the people that do this on YouTube. But this is just to satisfy kind of my curiosity, and my desire to produce something. And I think what I decided to do, I don't know if you guys remember when I was doing the World Sand Project, I used to take some of the sand that was more elegant, some of the black sand from Iceland or some of the green peridot sand from Hawaii. And I used to put it in a little vial, little tiny pendant that looked like, what is it? What is that? Somebody asked me what it looked like. Do you remember?
Was it heart-shaped? I don't remember.
It was kind of heart-shaped, but, with the bottom and everything. Anyway, what I'm going to do is after every one of these bags that I extract gold from, I'm going to put the gold in one of those vials, and I'm going to put it up for sale at a reasonable price. Not the price of gold, but maybe what I paid for the pay dirt bag. And I'm going to start a shop because our AGK channel qualifies for all this stuff. I'm going to put up a Shopify store, and I'm going to sell the little pendants of gold in the Shopify store. So that's the plan.
Okay. Now, shall we show pictures from the Ghost Ranch?
Yeah, you want to see pictures?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Ghost Ranch. We went the first time on the 7th of January. The second time we went on Friday the 13th. And here are some of the things that we saw. This is sort of a put together sign it says Ghost Ranch.
Right there.
And then there's like the cowboy and the cowgirl and
the cow baby.
The cow baby. It's the little family made out of these metal bits and pieces.
That somebody welded together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So remember, this picture is going to become important when you see the video, when you watch the video.
That's just shows you kind of the layers of the
this
rocks
is
around us.
This is from the side on which all the buildings are across. This is an alfalfa field, and during the spring through fall months, they grow and cut alfalfa, and they use that to feed the horses, mules, and cows. So this is a old wagon, and I can't tell you how many times I tried to get this picture. We had to wait until late in the afternoon when it was actually in the sun and not actually the shade, but it's just an old wagon, has a lot of class, and I thought it was pretty cool. So this is kind of a model of the geology of the area up there. This rock right here is referred to as Chimney Rock. And it has, it's been painted. You got to remember, this is where a lot of the inspiration for Georgia O'Keeffe's paintings, from which Georgia O'Keeffe's painting came. And she picked up on all these colors and literally made herself and Ghost Ranch famous for her painting these areas. That's the most handsome guy I could find that day. So these are the combinations. I thought this was fun because there was the red dirt of this, the lighter debt, and all of these you're going to see in the video. All of these represent different layers of the geology that were mostly from the Tertiary period, which preceded the Jurassic. The Tertiary was like from 250 million years ago to 200 million years ago, and that's when all of this geology was formed. At one point, if you see this line right there, that white line, that's limestone, because at one point all of this was under an ocean referred to as the Western Inland Sea that basically split up what we now know as the United States. It split it right down the southwest through the southwest, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and into Mexico, Western Inland Sea, and that's what that white layer represents. So what did you find out about this cabin?
This is they call this the City Slickers cabin. They shot one of the scenes from the movie City Slickers with Billy Crystal using this cabin.
Who was the bad guy? Jack Palance.
Well, he wasn't the bad guy. He was the good guy. He was like the foreman of
was he?
So they went to a
assumed...
dude ranch, right?
Which Ghost Ranch
this is a dude ranch. And they were supposed to drive cattle to market. Right, they were supposed to drive the cattle.
I've never seen the movie, so you're.
And along the way, I guess there were cattle rustlers that they had to
fight off.
Yeah,
even though they were dudes.
They were just dudes, and then their trail boss Jack Palance got injured or sick or something, so they kind of had to carry on without him.
Did he die?
Finish the drive. I don't remember now. It's been so long. It was the 80s when I saw it.
So you might also be able to see this area right here, that watered area. That is Abiquiu Reservoir. And then this mountain right here, this flat top mountain, is Cerro Pedernal. And Pedernal. Yeah. Yeah, there's no R in front of the D, right? Pedernal. And it's Spanish for Flint Hill. And there was I guess it's not necessarily Puebloan, but there was a peoples here.
The gallina.
They were called the gallinas, the chickens. That's what gallinas is.
I thought gallina was a mineral.
No. Oh, no, there is gallina.
Oh.
Is a mineral. Gallina is a Spanish for chicken.
Oh.
I don't know why they were called that, maybe because they raised chickens.
Chicken people.
Anyway, they used to go up there to collect flint.
And that is a brown home.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody lives in it, though.
So they used to go up there to collect flint. And of course, they used the flint for making tools, weaponry, and they used to trade it for other goods that ranged all the way from maize through pottery through other tools. So that's just another view of it.
A little hitching post there.
So like other southwestern waters, the Abiquiu Reservoir is much lower than it is normally. There was some recovery recently with the rains that fell in California, plus the western mountains. The Rocky Mountains are getting more snow this year than they have in the past 5 or 6 years. And so that'll help the drought next year.
Little corral out there. This is the other side of the building. Same tree.
I wanted to do something with this tree. There was just not much to be done with it. I think O'Keeffe painted a couple of these, not necessarily this one, but she did paint these. And I think as a painting, it looks much better than that's my little black truck, which I just love.
I told Toby to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Against the mountains there.
That looked pretty good. Looks like it belongs there. So this is the road that leads down to the ranch. You can see this isn't the ranch area. That is actually a private building or a private home that belongs to the, not the manager. They didn't call him the manager. They called him the director of the facility. That's where he and his family lives.
That's
so
me.
This is my bestie taking pictures.
Taking pictures of you.
Taking pictures of me. Yeah. That's my bestie modeling her Ghost Ranch hoodie. And this is a drone shot. We decided to launch a drone. You'll see it in the video. And we just launched a drone because I wanted to get the ranch itself and we were in area. That's the road that leads. That's New Mexico 84 that leads to the ranch, and this is the turnoff to the right that leads to the ranch from 84. But again, there's Cerro Pedernal, and there's Abiquiu Reservoir. I don't know what this mountain is behind it.
Forgets the San Juans or something
Yeah,
like that. I
yeah.
think.
So, but it was a beautiful day for flying the drone. And the nice thing about the drone is it shoots some very high resolution images. So it's a lot of fun to get that. Here's Shelley taking pictures of me again. Just me walking because apparently I walk like Jack Benny is the conclusion we've come to. Selfie. Got to do selfies. More selfies. So
in front of the Museum of Anthropology.
So we had kind of a funny,
Paleontology.
and you'll hear more about it. We had a schedule, and our plan was to get there by 11 o'clock, so that we could go. They have a tour that goes around. It's like $5.
I don't think it goes anywhere.
So it's just a talk.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
Where you can ask questions.
And do you pay? Did we pay for it when we got the selfie ticket?
I don't know, because it said $5 for it.
Huh.
We didn't show up in time for it.
So we got there
Either
anyway. We didn't get there in time because we had some delays on the way. And then when we got there, we were going to go. The first things that we wanted to make sure that we saw the museums, and we got there just as the museums everybody had closed for lunch. So we had to go do stuff, and that's when we went and did all that picture taking and drone footage and all that other stuff. But these are the two museums that we wanted to see: the Museum of Anthropology and the Museum of Paleontology. They're not big museums, but what you might know is both the new museums are named after women, and that's because they are effectively the founding members. Florence Hawley Ellis was a professor at the University of New Mexico. She was a formerly trained archaeologist, and her work in anthropology and archaeology, because it's as much a museum of archaeology as it is anthropology, was named after her. And then the Ruth Hall Museum of Paleontology, she was not a trained paleontologist. She was a guest at the Dude Ranch, but when they discovered
she was the wife of the director or the owner or something. Maybe the wife of the first director.
Yeah.
When they first handed it over to the Presbyterian Church.
That's right. When they handed
she had a lot of interest in that paleontology of the area.
Right. And there is a lot of paleontology in the area. So walking in, the museums, of course, have that very recognizable New Mexico look. So this is the inside of the front, the Anthropology Museum. And I'm just going to go through these pictures quickly because you're going to see it again. A lot of these in the video with our conversation. They did have some really interesting displays, including one with a microscope to look at the various types of pottery there was. A great map of the region. We're up here at Ghost Ranch. Abiquiu is below us. This is, for those of you that are familiar, this is the Jicarilla Apache Reservation. And this is
kind of a weird shape, huh?
Yeah. This is because they always have to fight over it with BLM and the Forest Service.
Water and mountains and stuff.
And then this is the Chama River, and on which you'll see Abiquiu Reservoir. El Vado is further north, and then Lake Heron is even further north from that. So it's a really interesting area. I've spent a lot of time on the Chama fishing. As some of you know, I spent some time looking for Fenn's treasure up on the Chama, etc. And there was a place where I was looking that was literally bordered on the Jicarilla Apache reservation. And what was interesting is there was a way to get to it from this side, but it was very difficult. But there was actually a forest road that went through the Jicarilla Apache reservation that you could get to and eventually get to the Forest Service areas up here. And then we're down here, of course, in Albuquerque. So I thought it was a very good descriptive map. So these are what are referred to as corn maiden idols. They aren't very sophisticated, but the idea was they would be put out in the field in order to
inspire the corn to grow.
Yeah, inspire the corn to grow. Yeah.
Fertilize the corn.
Fertilize. Oh, don't even start, lady. I'll make you tell them what you call them.
No, it won't.
I want you to know
I wouldn't say it on the
they're
on the
corn
air.
maidens.
Yeah.
Corn maidens.
Sure.
So in the Museum of Anthropology, they did have displays of some Spanish colonial artwork, and you'll recognize some of this from the Spanish colonial artists that we always promote. There was a lot of santos. There were a lot of different representations. It was all very well done. They did really good work. This was a display on old Santa Fe, and what's really interesting, aside from the fact that these pictures were made, when there were vehicles around, this one wasn't. This was during Santa Fe's downtown when it was horses, and these are, horseless carriages here. But this map is pretty descriptive. This is the Palace of the Governors there. This is the plaza. This is La Fonda. It's actually in the wrong place. The La Fonda is right here. This is the cathedral, which is up the street from the La Fonda. This is the Inn of Loreto. This is St. Michael's, the Church of San Miguel. And that's my high school, St. Michael's High School. And of course, this was before the Roundhouse was built, which would have been over here. This was the budding old state capitol. And then this was the Santa Fe River, which at the time was probably running. It doesn't run much anymore, but that is the Santa Fe River. So it was just an interesting map because a lot of the stuff is still there, So this is what was interesting is they seem to have a lot of references to women who would come here as members of a party there for the benefits of a dude ranch, learning to horse ride. And they always did more than that. They stayed and they studied and they wrote books and they did, and I suppose the biggest example of that is I forgot her name. Well,
Georgia
O'Keeffe. But there were other women there that produced not only science, but books and photography, things like that. So it was just interesting to see that there's a very small outdoor linkage between the museums, between the Anthropology Museum and the Paleontology Museum. So you have to walk through a small courtyard to do that. I
made him take that picture.
She did make me take the picture, and I still can't figure out why. There's a metate.
Well, I thought it was cool.
That's a metate. That's what you use that too. It's
grind the corn.
Made of basalt. And so it makes it great if you need to grind corn into stuff to make corn tortillas. This is Shelley communing with the sunlight. I don't know what was going on here. What was happening here?
We were walking between the two buildings, and it was very cool in there because it was mostly dark. But there where the sun was, it was just radiating heat, like a heater was blowing on me. And I thought, where's that heat coming from? So I was feeling the wall to see
if that's where it was coming from.
And it was.
And what did you find? Yeah,
you
did. So this is a view towards the south. I guess it would be southeast, towards the southeast.
Sounds like a katsina. What is a katsina?
That's Native American for something, but I don't know what it is.
Is it a kachina doll? I don't know.
Oh,
anyway,
that is what it is. All right, so this is the Triassic. Actually, by this time we're out of the Triassic, we're into the Cretaceous, and you can see this number right here. If you remember correctly, that was the period in which the asteroid struck what is now the Yucatan and literally wiped out all the dinosaurs. And that's when the mammals started. That began the period of the mammalian. This was after the Triassic, and that's when all this activity formed. I don't know what it is. I just it's a Windows 11. It's because that's associated with the pictures, with the photographs.
I don't know.
So these are all the different formations, and it was in some of these formations, these earlier formations, that some of the fossils were found and are still to this day being found. So this is our friend coelophysis.
No, is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's him.
Okay.
So this is we don't call him the New Mexico State dinosaur because
is the coelophysis. Yes.
His fossils are the New Mexico State fossil. And that was at that time, that's because at that time, that was the only coelophysis fossil any place in the world. Now, they have found some in other places, after that, but the first finds were
They
here.
were dense in this area.
Yeah, they were dense, as a matter of
And
fact.
they figured that they actually probably had fuzzy feathers, what they call dino fuzz. So this one is more reptilian than what they actually believe it would have looked
They
like.
would have looked like, yeah.
They think it would have been, a precursor to a bird. I'm guessing like.
And I finally, as a matter of fact, I mentioned in the video that one of the things that we wanted to accomplish was I wanted to find a book on the fossil study in that area, the paleontology of the area, and they didn't have one in their bookstore. We didn't find one. Where did else we look? There was another bookstore I checked. Anyway, I finally found one on Abe Books, and the book is entitled. I have this information somewhere.
I don't know. There was a bookstore at the Welcome Center, but that was all.
That was
George
all art.
O'Keeffe stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was a book. They had books for sale in the Abiquiu Inn.
Well, I documented it someplace.
It was in your other notebook.
That's what I was looking there, but it's on.
Oh. Anyway, the little dinosaurs of something or other.
Ghost Ranch. They're
Ghost
called.
Ranch.
The book is called The Little Dinosaurs of Ghost Ranch, and it is a full research study on all of that. So probably tastes like chicken, yeah. Oh, corn, kachina, doll, rock. So early forms of kachina. So I can't remember this guy. This guy was a competitor, but it wasn't coelophysis. This was an alligator-like.
No, I thought it was the other way around.
Was it?
I thought this was the George O'Keeffe, the one they named after her, and I thought that one was because the one on that end was this guy, which I thought was the George O'Keeffe. They called it something like George O'Keeffe, but
oh, this guy was on the other end.
Coelophysis.
Okay,
See,
sorry.
look at the picture. See?
No, you're right. You're right. That is coelophysis.
Yeah, he's skinnier.
And then there was this alligator-like guy that formed it. You know what you find out? Alligators are like they've managed to survive. Alligators and cockroaches apparently have survived more disasters in all of this.
Because they can live underwater.
Well, they can't live underwater.
They can when there's bad stuff going on.
Well, that's what they've done. Look at this guy's mouth. I'd just like to run into him.
Nah, he's gone.
Okay, so that's it. Left to
shows
right.
You next to a person, how tall they are.
Okay, left to right. I didn't get this whole picture.
See, Ephigia.
Ephigia. That's
one.
Ephigia.
And then coelophysis.
O'Keeffia. Or Ephigia Georgia, something like that.
Yeah.
And then coelophysis. And then monkey dog. I don't know. What's the name of it?
You didn't get the name of it.
This is Vanna White posing next to a coelophysis fossil.
Yes. Collected
And
in
isn't this the one?
1947. Yeah.
This is the one that had another fossil.
Had the bones of a different animal in its stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's really weird is they found a lot of these coelophysis fossils stacked on top of each other in what was once a quarry. And they don't know why or how they ended up all in the bottom of this quarry.
Could have been like, what are those animals that jump off they all run to the end of the cliff and they all jump off the cliff.
Buffalo.
Those they're little fur ball things. No, not gremlins. They're
Tribbles.
No, somebody knows, but
are you talking about a real animal or something that you saw in
they're
Star
little,
Wars?
Small fuzzy animals, and they all run to the end of the cliff and then they jump off.
And kill themselves?
Yes.
Oh, never heard of them.
Oh, you have to. What are they called? I can't remember the name of them.
So they actually have, you'll see it in the video, they actually have a location where they've extracted part of the quarry.
No, not lemurs.
And they have placed it, as you can see, this is plaster of Paris. And the reason that plaster of Paris is to hold it all together so that they can move it. So the reason that they wanted to move it is because you can see right here, this is just kind of a close-up picture, that's another fossil. And they're taking that fossil out, literally a dental pick movement at a time. That's the tools.
Lemmings. That's it.
Lemmings.
That's it. Nomadic madman got it.
So this is us shooting a time lapse. You will see that time lapse. We're in this 44 minutes and we have a 1 hour video to go. Whose fault is that? Chimney Rock.
Who's doing so much good content that they're filling up this whole hour?
Ask Shelley what she calls Chimney Rock.
I call it Chimney Rock. I call that you. There you are. Playing with your camera.
Playing with the cameras. This is Shelley looking hot and sexy.
Well, thank you.
In her
Like Ghost French apparel.
yeah. So this is what us working, I guess. I don't know. I didn't shoot this stuff.
I did. While I was sitting there watching you.
This is
That's a
green
best
chili
green
cheeseburger.
chili cheeseburger.
Okay, Shelley.
In New Mexico.
Well, let's call it northern New Mexico. Shelley did find the best
the
chili
best one
green
that
sugar.
I've had.
I found
New
the
Mexico.
best BLTA. The A stands for avocado. It was so good that each time I've stopped there, I've had it.
Yep.
So
Abiquiu Inn. Gotta go.
Abiquiu Inn, that's right. Okay, enough of that. All right, you guys are going to have a lot of patience because Pneumatic Madman says, I don't know that lemmings are real, but I could be wrong.
No, they're real, and you are
no,
correct. I saw movies about them when I was a kid in school. We'd watch these lemmings, and they'd all run to the edge of the cliff, and then they'd jump off.
Know that they're rodents. There they are. Lemmings.
That's right.
A lemming is a small rodent usually found in or near the Arctic and tundra biomes. Lemmings form the subfamily, I can't pronounce that,
That's
together
just
with
all the science
with
about them.
voles and muskrats. You know what's I think is important about this? It was these kind of mammals that actually survived the
They look like
mass
gerbils.
extinction associated with the dinosaurs. So they look like gerbils.
Or hamsters.
Okay, are you ready for the movie?
Yep.
I'm going to
let's do
warn
it.
you. This movie
Popcorn
is 1
time.
hour and 7 minutes long. Well, I tried cutting it everything that I could, but you will learn.
Toby's not the best when it comes to cutting things out.
Yeah. I'm better at
That's why
editing.
directors shouldn't edit.
Yeah. That's actually like a film industry,
Mhm.
paradigm.
Writers and directors should not edit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they want it
I
all.
want it all saved. Save my babies. So we're back on our way to the Ghost
Here we go.
Ranch, and it's taking longer than we had hoped because we wanted to make the 11:15 history tour. But we saw all the things in the video last week, so it's probably not too much different anyway. We just kept running into things slowing us down, traffic and traffic lights and kid parades, and so we'll get there.
You're being gracious to call it a kid parade.
Apparently the children from the elementary school back there, whatever little town that was.
Espanol.
Oh, in Espanola. They had crossed over to go to the fire station for a tour, and they were crossing back over, and the fire trucks...
A 4-lane highway.
Yeah, the fire trucks stopped all the traffic just as we were pulling up to that intersection, and let all the little preschoolers and tiny kids cross the street, which is fine. It's just, another thing to slow us down. And, my alarm didn't go off this morning either, so I got a late start.
And it's Friday the 13th.
And it's Friday the 13th, so at least it wasn't a parade of black cats, walking under ladders or something.
My only regret is what Shelley's calling the kid parade, is they were adorable. They had 2 lines of them, and they all had ropes, so they could walk across. But it was the cutest thing, and I didn't have the camera on, the hood camera on. I would have loved that. I would have loved that shot. I considered Shelley said you need to jump out and turn the camera on, and I was just 4-lane highway in 2 directions and a lot of things happening, so I didn't feel it was safe to go out. But anyway, we're on our way. Should have a good video for you here.
So the museums are open today, but closed between 12 and 1 for lunch. Figures. So not only do we miss the tour, we miss the museum start, but that's okay. We decided to use the 1 hour lunchtime to go take some pictures around the area, including something that you're going to see here in just a moment. And today I brought an AGK challenge coin, and I'm going to try and find a place to hide it so that if you guys ever come out here, you'll be able to find one of the AGK challenge coins that has our AGK logo on the front and a treasure chest on the back. Okay, so and we're gonna hide it. We're gonna put it out of sight, but you'll know if you watch this video, you'll know where it is. So let me see if I can find someplace here.
Pay attention, so if you go, you can find it.
How about inside this cup? What do you think?
I can see it.
Oh, that's hard. It's always going to be in the
Maybe
shade.
the other cup.
It should be okay. You think the other cup?
Yeah, because this one's a straight shot in. At least that one's covered a little bit by some grasses.
The old man has to do
This
this
one's
work.
at an angle.
That's right, it is an camera hanging.
Okay. It's in the right foot of this cowboy here, or
Cowgirl.
cowgirl.
Yeah,
So we want to get a picture of that anyway.
yeah.
All right. So if you guys come to Ghost Ranch, look for this, I don't know what you call it, sculpture, I guess. And then,
See, it's a family, the daddy, the mommy, and the kid.
oh, I see. Okay. Let's cross the other side real quick. Oh, let's not because the wind is blowing.
Well, let's just dance around in the road, why don't we?
Okay. So I do want to get a photo of this, so
All right. That donkey's looking at you like, I can't even believe you.
you guys are doing this? Yeah.
I can't. I don't even know what you're doing, and I can't believe it anyway. Let's see the horses and the donkeys. Colbert. Smell them. Smell-o-vision. Lots of birdies.
All right, so the only problem with this is you're going to see the camera going in front of me every once in a while, right? Let's see, there we go. All right,
Nope,
this
part
is the
two.
location where the,
This is part 2. This was the second trip up there. So the first one
made
was
2
shot on the
trips.
6th, and the second one was shot on the
7th.
13th. I'm sorry, the 7th and the 13th.
all right, let's head.
And you can tell because
we're
I'm
gonna
wearing
head that
different
way.
shirts.
We're going to go back and take a picture of that cabin.
And I got the sweatshirt the second time.
wagon. There was one other picture. So there's the cabin and the
Chimney
wagon.
Rock, but you took that last time. But
I did, and I'm still kind of thinking about launching the drone. So we'll see.
on the property?
Yeah.
Did you ask? You said they gave
No,
you a
it's
phone
easier.
number.
It's well, I called, but they didn't call me back.
Oh,
So it's easier to apologize than it is to ask permission.
easier, is it?
Yeah.
And yes, I did watch the Wallace and Ladmo show,
Contrails,
Nomadic Madman.
aliens.
Those Ladmo bags used to be huge.
It's just the government trying to gas us
smaller.
with happy gas.
All right.
All right.
I think you need that shot of your truck against that, you know.
My truck?
Yeah, you like your truck, right?
I love my little
Well,
truck.
there you go. Wouldn't that be a good shot of it?
Yeah, it would be.
Didn't need to.
Takes a while to take a picture, apparently.
Let me answer Mary's question real quick.
You got the reservoir, right?
I did in that one shot. I've got the corner of the cabin, El Fajado? Pedernal.
Pedernal.
And then the reservoir here. It's kind of at a tough angle, but yeah, it's an okay shot.
Cool.
This cabin, the front of this cabin, is not going to have any sunlight on it until summertime because the sun is traveling that direction.
The way I'm holding the camera, I look like I'm walking with it, like a crab, something. So was it the Allegheny?
All right.
Yucca-Gainey.
Yucca.
No, and I just
I'm gonna let you
remembered
go.
the name of it. But
What is it?
After these,
I'll
we'll
go
do this
hide
after the video.
But
Because
then
I want to
you'll
address
forget
it.
Shoot
again.
it.
I won't. I'm going to write it down right
We'll
now.
both get in trouble.
And I'll tell you why I know it wasn't the Yucca-Gainey.
30 seconds of footage. That's all I want.
The sky is very interesting that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, had a lot of character. It shows up in the time lapse.
Let's see. Check in with City Slickers Cabin. Oh, that's what that's called. That's the City Slickers Cabin right there.
Say again?
So that's the City Slickers Cabin.
Oh, is it?
Well, they used
Yeah,
it
that
in the
movie?
movie. Yeah, in the movie. George O'Keeffe said, "It is not a country of light on things, it is a country of things in light." Okay. Getting busy again. Just like constant travel back and forth between the Ghost Ranch and the main highway here. The only reason to come in on this road is for Ghost Ranch. That's all that's out here.
Drizzle.
Have you ever noticed that every once in a while a word that makes no sense whatsoever comes out of my mouth?
Yeah.
We are eventually. Why?
Did you buy your day pass already?
Yeah, we already got it. We got it online.
Okay.
We've actually been up there already. We just came back out to take
She's
photos.
trying to leave, and you're just like explaining more and more. And she's
Well,
like,
she stopped and
whatever.
stuck her nose in my business.
I don't know.
So you had to read her the riot act?
Got the aircraft.
She was trying to stop me from flying my drone.
No, she wasn't. She left. She couldn't. She couldn't leave fast enough. She
I
was
think they're
trying
all
to
coming
leave.
back from lunch is the problem.
Well,
Guilty.
they should be all where they're being now because that was a bunch of traffic all at once.
Oops.
It looks warmer than it is. I'll just say that.
It looks warmer than there is,
I
and
forget to
you
take
can
that
tell it's
plastic
winter
cover
because
off
there's
the,
no green. It's
Yeah.
all
Camera,
yellow and
It
gray.
doesn't like that. All right, now it's happy. Okay, let's take off from over here.
Let's.
So I'm looking for 30 good seconds of Georgia O'Keeffe.
Man, the mouse in my pocket.
And City Slickers. So compare with the movie.
Making sure the camera's on. There we go.
Aliens.
It's about the only time you get to see what the
So I'm
camera
going to go up to
sees
around
and
300 feet, right about
what, and
there.
what you're doing at the same time.
What I wanna
That's why I
do
like it
is
this way.
Find
It's
that
some shade.
pinnacle. No, it's not the shade. It's these glasses get so dark on me I can't see anything. All right. So let's do 30 seconds of landscape. Oops, what happened there?
The camera turned on.
Ready.
Interesting how the two cameras show two different colored skies.
So I'm just going to head towards the mountains there.
You know, it's funny because they're exactly the same sensor.
So I'm at 313 feet in altitude, and I'm about 900 feet away from me. So I have those dimensions, and I'm going to start right now where that little, right now, 30 seconds, so 42.
After the calculation.
There we go. And then what I'll do is I will turn around and give everybody a look at the kind of landscape we're on. I don't know, can you actually see that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, they like filming movies here.
See the footage.
All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around 180 degrees of the drone. I'm going to fly it back in this direction so you can see the other side of the landscape. So all I'm doing is lining up with my outbound track towards me. And you'll see in that shot, let's get back on track here. The body of water is the reservoir. And over in the upper right-hand corner is Cerro Pedernal. And we've talked about that before.
Endlessly.
So I feel like I can do this without getting
And we didn't talk
in
about
any
it again.
trouble unless somebody comes up that road, because it looks like everybody took off for lunch.
I think you're fine as long as it's not landing or taking off when they're crossing by you.
Yeah.
So I would, when you're ready to land, I would check for traffic and then do it quickly.
I don't want to get in trouble.
What's going to happen? What's the worst
Okay, that's
that could
good
happen?
there.
They will tell us to leave and
I'm
never
gonna get
come back.
on
Yeah,
That
you
would
know
be
what?
sad.
All I
Because I
have to
got
do
in
is
trouble.
offer to share the drone footage with them, and they'll just be happy.
and I'm just going to bring the drone back to where I am.
Say Merry Greens. Shoot now and ask questions later.
So we can hear it coming back now. And I'm 650 feet away from us. Gonna get a little bit of a right hand there. Now this drone has a return to home feature, and it's very easy to use, and I'll punch that in when I feel like we're close enough. So I'm at around 300 feet away, still 313 feet of altitude. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a couple of shots here. So I'm going to turn off the video, go to,
No, don't land yet.
yeah,
Truck coming.
got a car?
Yeah.
Let's do photo. And we'll take a couple of photos here.
Oh, it looks like a UPS or something. Yep, UPS truck. You don't care.
Okay.
Sky pictures.
See, and that sky matches that sky because they're both. That's the photo I stopped to pick, which you guys already saw. The controller makes a camera sound when you take a picture.
Okay, I'm going to go back to video and bring her home.
Bring her home. It's always a her.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just kind of
Because that's what you tell it. That's what you call it.
well, she talks to me. I mean,
She.
the voice in there is it's a woman's voice.
There we
Listen,
are.
listen, listen.
So she'll get straight home. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see what she's doing. She's
What?
almost right overhead. Still coming in. She's 100 feet away and 314 feet in the air. But you can see our truck in the image. It'll pretty much center up on that image. I launched from about 10 or 12 feet away, left feet the truck. So it'll spin out around to the direction that I started, and then it'll start going down.
What's her name?
Well, it's not
250.
Siri or Alexa. So.
Yeah, because she's just a new one.
And I don't know if you can
Must
hear
be
it at
drone.
this point. You may not be able to hear it, but you can hear it in the
Droney.
wind. The wind is blowing it around, but the gimbal is so stable you can't tell. Just at the last minute before she lands, she'll turn the camera straight up. So I don't have control of that. The only control I have right now is, do I want to stop the auto landing or not?
A couple of flat Stanleys there.
There goes the camera. Turns it straight up and
Flighty. Yep.
smooth landing. Let's turn off the video. There we go. Got the footage I wanted.
Yay. Well, I imagine they had to.
Pardon?
I imagine they were shooting a lot when they were shooting that movie. So.
Kevin texted.
That was Kevin's text.
Yeah.
All right, turning it off.
Okay.
He wanted to tell me he was buying a chair.
Oh, is that what it was? So Kevin bought one of these
So
chairs
we
that
went
we
back
have.
into the visitor center, so I thought I'd use it as an opportunity to have a little snack.
Having a snack without me, huh?
Not a beer. Cherry limeade is my favorite. So these are made by Jack Links. They call them prime rib, but Shelley calls them, I guess we both call them doggy treats.
I corrected myself.
You're
So
the
she'll
one that
tell
came
me,
up with that.
If you stop at the next rest stop, I'll give you a doggy treat. Applesauce,
So you got to be the snarky
Oreo
one this time.
cakesters,
Huh?
sweets, pretzels, trail mix.
Trail mix.
That trail mix is getting a little old. I had one the other day. It needs to
Oh,
be
it's just a
replaced.
bag of coffee and drinks, and
Drink powders.
the hood cam shouldn't be in here, but I dropped it in accidentally. So we got another 3 minutes before the museum's open. We went out on the property, got a lot of photos. I shouldn't say this too loud, but we got some drone footage that I'm happy with. So we got that accomplished. I'll do some pretzels.
You'll just have to disable those notifications.
A couple of doggy treats. So like everything else in New Mexico, it gets pretty dry. You have to keep
I didn't get to like everything else in New
drinking
Mexico.
your liquids, your fluids. Make sure you don't get too thirsty. You can tell because the first thing that'll happen is you'll get a headache. And that's the combination of altitude and humidity, or low humidity. So we keep sodas, club sodas, flavored club sodas, and then water bottles. That'll get us through the day.
I'll answer these questions.
I think we're going to stop at the Abiquiu Inn on the way home and eat our either late lunch or early dinner, depending there. So I'm craving that crispy BLT again. That's the camera that goes on the hood. This is a GoPro, an older model, GoPro 5. And this is the GoPro suction mount. And then it has this wire cable. It's plastic coated. And you attach that to, I attach it to the windshield wipers. And that if it falls off, you're not going to lose it. It'll just bounce around the front of the truck. And they're pretty stable. This GoPro has a case on it. So it's pretty protected. I've never had one drop off in all the years that I've been doing that. So, all right. Here comes Shelley. We'll talk to you in a bit. Oh, it's dark in here. I don't know if we're going to get into footage. It's so dark. Or is it just because I have my glasses on?
That's part of it, yeah. Hello.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Very good. And you?
I am stressed, in total honesty.
What are you? We're not part of that, are we?
No, not significantly. No, I have just a lot of bureaucratic stuff.
Reminds me of Stephen Wright,
emails, and
the comedian.
I started this job only a few days ago, so if there's any slight lack of professionalism, that's why.
Oh.
I apologize in advance to that.
No need to apologize. We're here to visit the museums. This is our second trip out here to make sure that we do that. So just we're pretty much, what do they call it? Self-sustaining. We don't.
So the tin panels there.
Oh, tin work?
Yeah.
Shelley doing a great job of changing the subject.
So some Spanish
What I
colonial
do.
artwork, some santos.
San Isidro, Santa Barbara, Santa Nino de Atocha, San Francisco de Assisi. Wooden
And St. Sniffles.
So the Santa
Nice
Nina de
artifacts.
Atocha is one that you see in a lot of New Mexico households. My mother had one, my grandmother had one.
Just letting everybody know the paleontology museum is through that door there. Just through that pavilion there. Okay.
What's your what are your rules about flash?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If
I won't use it if you don't. It's I'm fine. I don't have to.
no,
Okay, then I'll just avoid using it. How's that?
I think it's okay, but you probably won't grade pictures with the glass reflecting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
A microscope there. Rocks.
I do know you can definitely use
Oh. Or is that
Paleontology.
pottery? Pottery sherds?
of course, that's not an issue.
Well, whenever I'm in a museum of any kind, I ask just to make sure.
Big. Okay. Can't see in there. Sorry. It's
Pardon?
microscope.
Microscope.
No.
Yay.
We'll tell you a story about him in a minute.
Pretty.
Make sure it's on, there's a little dial someone made.
Yeah, it is on. So,
I love microscopes.
I know. That's why I pointed it out to you.
on the surface of some of these rocks here that are veined.
Many pueblos make these medallions, small ceramic shapes that can be used as necklaces, hair ornaments, or Christmas decorations. Displayed here are medallions from top to bottom: Jemez, Santo Domingo, Acoma, Zia, Santa Clara, San Juan, and Hopi.
All in their styles. That's a very cool map, isn't it? Some Tsuki pottery.
Ildefonso painted black on red water jar, circa 1930.
So that bean pot there is made of diatomaceous earth, and it's very popular for that area around Pohuaque and Chimayo. But it's a style of mud that has mica in it. And I know both Native American and Spanish pottery artists that make from it. As a matter of fact, a good friend of ours, Debbie Carrillo, is a diatomaceous earth pottery maker.
What's toasty in here? Mesa Verde pottery.
Great samples of New Mexican Puebloan pottery.
Some arrowheads, stone arrowheads. Bone tools, Sapaway Pueblo.
Oh, here's the story of
Largest prehistoric pueblo, AD 1250 to 1540, of Tiwa-speaking people in New Mexico. Irrigation ditches were introduced there after 1300s, enabling Sapaway to expand to 7 plazas, 2,000 rims, covering 21 acres.
whereabouts is it located? Tiwa? Along the Rio
Rio
Grande?
Grande, San Juan,
Yeah.
and Santa Clara.
Yeah, the Tiwa language is generally along the Rio
Areas.
Grande. Great collection of arrowheads and axe heads, scrapers. So wanted to show you guys, this was the woman after whom this anthropology museum was named, Florence Hawley Ellis. She was born in 1906 and passed away in 1991.
The Corn Maidens.
She entered the University of Arizona at the age of 16 and graduated in 1927. Began teaching in 28. She completed her doctorate at the University of Chicago.
That's what happens
Wow.
with cold. I sniff.
So her doctoral dissertation was entitled "The Significance of the Dated Prehistory of Chetroketal, Chaco Canyon, New Mexico." She was offered a teaching position at the University of New Mexico in 1934. Quite an accomplished anthropologist.
That's interesting. So this is Guyana beans from AD 1175.
Is it in your shop?
I don't know.
So that preceded the Pueblo.
Picture. And corn from AD 1175.
So the Guyana people were the people from this area, and last week when we talked about Pedernal, Cerro Pedernal, Flint Hill, it was the Guyana people that used to collect the flint and chert from that area and not only use it for themselves to make weaponry and tools, but they used it as a tool for barter from other tribes.
And to make shirts.
And to make shirts.
Gallina, by the way, is a Spanish word for chicken.
Buck,
Oh,
buck,
yeah?
buck. You didn't believe me then either.
I have the corn.
I thought it was pollo.
Well, that's the pollo is when it's cooked,
Oh, I see.
like pollo loco.
Yeah, crazy chicken.
How do we have these conversations?
Somebody has to.
Turkey Springs. So they don't date this as, again, the Guyana people, but they don't date it.
What?
This is very cool. It's a classic anthropologist's set of tools.
Oh,
Very cool. And archaeology, I guess. Archaeology rather than anthropology. So what's interesting about this museum, it was a combination of anthropology and archaeology. Although it was called a museum.
Do you want to go across the hall? Or are you taking a picture?
the corn maidens.
We go across the hall or? Ladies of the Canyons.
Oh, here's her dissertation.
I thought you had already seen that.
I had walked by,
Glass
but
case. That's her doctoral dissertation.
I hadn't seen the dissertation. I had read her history. Clovis points. Look at the size of that buffalo. That was that early buffalo that eventually disappeared. Bison antiquus.
Mega
Fauna.
like mammoths, giant sloths, or bison antiquus.
So it was believed that when they crossed the Beringian Strait from Asia over into North America, across the ice bridge, that they were actually following the megafauna, and that's what drew them progressively further south. The last of the megafauna found in New Mexico, the fossils of such.
And over here to the Ladies of the Canyons room.
Oh. So this room is dedicated to
Sometimes we split
Spanish
up.
colonial art. And lots of santos. There's a retablo over there in the old style. Furniture in the old style.
It says Walpi is a historic Pueblo village located on Hopi First Mesa, 300 feet above the canyon floor on the Hopi Reservation in northeastern Arizona. Established around 900 AD, it has been continuously inhabited for more than 1,100 years. It's a long time. This is Ghost Ranch history. Carol and Roy Pfaffel met Jack Lambert when they all worked at Bishop's Lodge. They became best friends and business partners and together bought the property near Alcalde, New Mexico that they named San Gabriel Ranch. In 1921, Jack married Roy's sister, Lois, and they soon had a daughter. Even with the wife and a small child at the ranch, Jack Lambert preferred to spend dude season on horse expeditions of 4 to 6 weeks in Indian country. But by 1927, he could no longer ignore his brother-in-law's alcoholism. After a particularly challenging horse and auto journey in the Grand Canyon, Lambert returned to Alcalde, found Roy was drinking, and decided it was time to sever his ties with San Gabriel Ranch.
Oh, is that the woman that ended up with the deed?
No, this is about San Gabriel Ranch. The Pfaffles. Pfaffles. I don't know. Carol Stanley Pfaffel and Jack Lambert, Canyon de Chelly. They were quite the adventurers.
More adventurous than us. Just
The
wanders
difference
around
is
museums.
they were riding horses
You ready
and
to go
we
to
were riding my
paleontology
little
museum?
black truck.
Yep. And they didn't have drones.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Better than you have had thus far.
Was this door open?
Close it, no. It's closed. The museum trail. The anthropology museum. That's a nice little.
I want to just get this.
Why do I feel heat right?
Reflected from the wall?
I don't know. It's like almost like a heater. Guess it's from the wall.
Is it the wall?
It must be. The wall's warm.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a difference in temperature.
Yeah, it's like the warmth coming right off of it. Restrooms are that way.
I'm just going to see what else is here.
That's where they do their
Meetings.
lab work.
That's as stable as any gimbal.
Burns
Walk with a
addition.
walk.
Whatever that is.
Look at that. Oh,
Me or you?
me, my son. I mean, yours is stable too, but that's better than a pocket holding a pocket too.
A pocket holding a pocket?
Yeah.
To pocket,
A pocket.
That sign says 5 p.m. The lady said 4 p.m. Well, we have plenty of time.
Just north of Ghost Ranch, I found this ammonite.
Would you like to go? And there's places near Albuquerque that we can go ammonite hunting. I mean, not hunting, but
Hunting. Kill them.
They're all prehistorically dead by now anyway.
Todilto Formation, gypsum and limestone, deposited by a highly saline inland sea or lake. This layer is well exposed as the cap rock on Kitchen Mesa.
I don't know why we were
So
whispering.
by the way,
much.
it does mention on here the Izzy app,
Yeah.
and we downloaded it. I was telling,
We listened
we
to that in
downloaded
the
that app
car.
and listened to it before we came here.
Yeah.
So this is the period that our,
Triassic rocks, Chinle Formation.
and the Triassic is where we found the coelophysis.
Coelophysis.
Right, Coelophysis.
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 Yeah, 201 to 250, 1 million years ago. And that's
Quarters
when
area, Triassic.
we were part of Gondwana, big continent.
We're pretty boring in the museum here. So pretty boring in the museum here. I'd have cut this part out. See.
I just think it'd be good to see it all. Attract more people to
I
it.
wish there was a book with all this stuff in it so I could take it home with me.
I would guess there are at least one book out there in the world that's got this information in it. Probably a lot more than that. Dental tools.
Yeah, for digging out fossils.
Let's see. Finding skeletons weathering in the desert sunshine was not an unusual experience for a woman who grew up in the rugged rangelands near Fort Davis, Texas. When Ruth Clark Hall came to Ghost Ranch in 1961 with her family, she recognized cow skulls, coyote limbs, and deer antlers bleaching under the harsh New Mexico sun. Ruth had been a public school music teacher and a violinist with the Austin, Texas Symphony Orchestra. The ranch presented new opportunities. She began to explore the 21,000-acre ranch and became aware of much older creatures whose bones lay alongside those of modern animals. The fossil remains she found were mysterious animals, understood mostly by paleontology and geologists only. Ruth attended many of the ranch's seminars in paleontology, led by Dr. E.H. Ned Colbert from the American Museum of Natural History in New York, and A.W. Fuzz Compton from Harvard. So, good old Fuzz.
E.H. Ned Colbert.
So the tree in the background on the painting is a conifer. I'm not going to try to pronounce the scientific names because I'll just mess that up. The two is a little creature. Where's the little creature? Looks like an armadillo.
Two. No, I don't see anything. I just see that one and that one and that one.
It's the painting on the wall. Right?
Oh, that must be in the painting. It's in the painting.
There it is.
Yeah, it's in the painting. The pig-nosed type of thorax was herbivorous.
Oh, look at, here's Effigia O'Keefeae.
This one, yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah. All right. Remember?
It's not letting me take the shot.
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know. We were the only two in there. I don't know why we had to whisper.
But let me take a picture.
Hesperosuchus.
Aha, that's the small one.
The third one.
Yeah.
This rock contains bones from a primitive land crocodile.
Yeah,
Hesperosuchus.
I lifted the flash, but it's not letting me take the shot. I don't know why.
Because you're whispering.
Got squooshed.
It got squished.
Squoshamondo.
Yeah, that's a technical term for flattened fossil squished. Squished a
Yes.
mondo.
It's a scientific word. I break out the scientific lingo when I'm in the museum.
And you swing it around like,
I know what it is.
like a paleontologist.
Nothing. I'm just talking to myself.
And the camera, apparently.
With me, it's always the camera. That's literally, my life is about fighting with cameras.
I know.
So if you guys want to learn more about this, there is a app you can download for free
Oh,
and learn about the museum and what's in it. The Anthropology Museum and, actually not the Anthropology, the Paleontology Museum. They didn't do one of the Anthropology Museum yet, but they may. But they are adding something on to it currently, so they'll probably wait till that's done. Looks like the duckbill, got kind of a duckbill on that one.
The Izzy app.
Smack it around.
That one turned into a duck, see? And that one
Are you
turned
making
into a
that up?
roadrunner.
Are you making that up, or did you find it where it said someplace? So what's this big
making it
creature, number 8? Composite cast skeletal mount of a
Big crocodile.
phytosaur skull.
Phytosaurus.
Phytosaurus.
He
Phytosaur?
fights you.
Phytosaur.
Yeah.
This guy
No,
right
that's
here.
where they got the dog name Fido from.
And that's our coelophysis?
That, I don't know,
Coelophysis.
let's see.
No.
Coelophysis.
Not referenced here.
Okay, what number is that? That is number 14. 14, coelophysis, dinosaur sculpture by Dave Thomas. Let's get a picture of
The guy from
coelophysis.
Wendy's? Dave Thomas, the guy from Wendy's.
Yeah, same guy. Very talented guy. Made hamburgers.
See, now, doesn't that look like it would turn into a roadrunner?
Yes.
That's
I'm not
my.
going to debate
I'm
this
not
with
going
you
to.
because I don't have the better answer for
Long
you.
tail,
That's my. I'm not going to fight this with you. Yes.
and I think it had fuzzy
Izzy dot
feathers
travel, not out.
on it.
Izzy dot travel.
Fuzzy feathers. Dino
Well,
fuzz.
it would have been
They
a
called
really-
it dino fuzz.
It would have been really hard to sculpt the fuzzy feathers. Look at this
I
guy.
had to glue them
I'd
on.
like to run into this croc.
No, thank you.
Crock of bones.
Worked really hard on putting it together, didn't they? This one was a swimmer, I think. The world's most complete specimen of Van Clevia campi was discovered at Ghost Ranch. This specimen was removed from the large plastered block located behind you. That one.
What's so funny?
Okay, to behind me.
It's like a dragon.
It does. And a dragon face. Toby fighting with the camera.
Well, the Burns Education Building is the lab where they work on the excavation stuff.
That's a technical term for it.
Excavations.
What?
This big crocodile's eating this little tiny dinosaur.
Didn't they say they found a croc? They found one of them with.
With bones in its tummy, yeah.
So that one in the background. Yeah, this rock contains bones from the primitive land crocodile Hesperosuchus
Hesperosuchus.
on the near edge of an ilium, the upper part of the pelvis. That was one long-legged crocodile. I imagine he could catch up to you if he decided he wanted you for dinner. Wow, this one looks dragon-like.
That's what I said. Look at the face.
Van Clevia campi was discovered here.
Am I just repeating everything?
Yes.
No.
Ephygia and Demonosaurus.
So these are all creatures that lived in the Triassic period, which was the same time, that 200 million to 250 million years ago, which is at the same time that Coelophysis lived.
This is the one that had the bone in its
Coelophysis.
tummy that belonged to another animal.
Where?
This one.
No, I mean, where's the bone in the tummy?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
But it talked about it.
In the tour thing. The Izzy travel thing.
This is a cast of the coelophysis.
Biases.
You're adding
Tail,
syllables
get
to
ya.
the back end. I'm adding it to the.
Watch out for that tail.
Watch out for that tail.
Stand next to that, what did you call it? Coelophysis, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Just so we have
Something
a
like that.
size comparison.
Coelophysis. Oh, coelophysis, you're right. You're right. Neither one of us is right.
All right, Vanna, thank you.
Recent discoveries near Ghost Ranch.
I'm going to stand up here on the little kid step so you guys can see this.
2007. Battleship Rock.
So this is an
Hayden
actual
Quarry.
work area where they are digging fossils out of the mud. And here's what's cool about this. I'm going to push the camera down just
It's not
a little
really
bit so you
mud
guys can
anymore,
see
it's
it.
dry. It's dry.
So
Mud's not dry. Dirt's dry.
see all that plaster of Paris? That's what they put around the specimen to protect it before they move it anyplace. They use plaster of Paris and cotton. And
Gauze.
they make those frames from them. And that's how they move it to wherever they're going to do the research. They bring it in a
Same
place
thing,
like
they make
this,
casts.
to do the research. And you can see kind of a space right there for the human that's going to be working in it. On this side, that's a stereo microscope with a microscope light down there. And then there's a point and shoot camera up on top so they can document whatever their finds are. But they use that set of tools that you can see over there. Dental tools and picks and brushes and bulbs, air bulbs, to do their research. And they're just looking for little pieces of bones and things. Oh, you can see some. So I don't know if you can see. Bring your camera
pretty
over here.
excited.
Doesn't take much to get me excited.
Can you see as the corner goes around? See right there? Yeah, it doesn't get a good close-up. I'll get it with a still camera. But that looks like they're working on some bones right there. Because there's like a foot. Can you see it? And then like a backbone. I mean, no, there. I don't know if I can reach it far. So I'll get a picture with my still cam so you guys can see it.
I almost climbed in because it's always easier to apologize than to ask permission.
Well, there's a place where it's open. You could have just gone around and sat in a chair if you really wanted to. Nobody else was in there.
Sure.
Big step.
Let's see if we can get a
That's me.
flash. It's gonna
That's
get
me.
all that
My
brown color.
necklace was banging on my microphone. Coelophysis. Bowery. Coelophysis.
There you got it.
Physis bowery is one of the oldest theropods, meat-eating dinosaurs. It is also one of the most famous early dinosaurs in the world. The Ghost Ranch coelophysis quarry contains hundreds of skeletons, more than known for any other Triassic dinosaur. The quarry became a national natural landmark in 1976, and coelophysis became the New Mexico state fossil in 1981. Yeah.
So it's like they all jumped into or fell into the quarry at the same time because their bones were just stacked on top of each other. They died at the bottom
They
of the
were
quarry.
probably trying to jump on the alien ship all together at the same time, and then they got blasted, and then
This is
they all
why
died together.
Shelley doesn't have a degree in paleontology. She tried, but then she brought up the aliens. And
Yeah, well,
yeah, well,
prove they didn't exist. Prove that was not true.
so if you're one of those people that has any interest in science, especially paleontology and anthropology and archeology
And geology.
and geology, this is just a very cool place to visit. I think I want to go back to the bookstore and see if there's anything specific related to the paleontology of the area. I think it'd make a good read. What do you think?
Sure. two lineages. Archosaurs include birds, crocodilians, and all descendants of their common ancestor. There are two main lineages of archosaurs, one leading to crocodilians, Pseudosuchia,
Look at
and
you.
one leading to birds, Ornithodira. Phytosaurs and Vanclavia were closely related to archosaurs, and it might be archosaurs. I'm going with this.
I'm going to go with archosaurs. I think you were right the first time.
And share many traits with them. The image to the right shows a cladogram of the archosaurs and their close relatives. This thing.
Run your camera from the top of that, slowly from the top of that to the bottom.
This one?
Yeah, you may have to step back to get it in focus. I just think it's interesting that crocodiles and birds had the same ancestor.
As opposed to the invertebrates. So we don't have any connections to the dinosaurs because all that was eliminated in around 63 million years ago. So
We're all
our
made of star
ancestors-
stuff.
63 to
captured
65,
We
2
do
million
have
one way or the other.
connection because we're all made of stardust.
That's true. Star stuff,
Star stuff.
according to
Stardust.
All right. I feel like we got to our museum.
Carl Sagan. Star stuff.
I just want to get that painting up there. It's not a very good shot, but
Yeah, it's cool how they got the whole range in one shot there. All right, I think I'm going to turn my camera off.
okay. Turning the camera off,
Seen
guys.
everything that we've got to see. What's going on?
All right, so I thought since we have such a beautiful blue-eyed sky, blue light, medium, what did you call it? Medium blue sky?
Azure.
Azure sky, that we might want to shoot a time lapse. And I guess I should mention that to shoot a 30-second time lapse requires 1/2 hour with shots at 2-second intervals. Now there's various ways that you can do that, but I'm pretty much accustomed to that algorithm, that particular algorithm. I know 2 seconds for 30 minutes gives me a 30-second time lapse. And I figured
30
we're,
minutes?
pardon,
30 minutes.
what did I say?
It takes 30 minutes to do it 30 seconds.
Right, that's right.
I think you said.
That's what I said.
And what I'm using for this is our DJI Pocket, which is a gimbaled camera, but you get control of it through a smartphone, and you can actually go to the time-lapse function. And it, once you tell it to time-lapse how long you want it, how long you want the time-lapse to be, it sets itself up. You don't have to do anything except put it on a tripod and keep it still. And we went inside to I went into the bookstore. They didn't have the book that I was looking for, but we did get some coffee. And Shelley got a book to read.
A book
So,
to read.
did you get something to read?
Oh, yeah,
So-
a guide.
Oh, so I'm going to stand out here and shepherd the time lapse.
I want to put my sweatshirt on so I can be outside. It's not cold.
No,
It's just if you're outside for a while, you can get.
so I don't know whether you can see it. I want to I'll swing it from left to right so that it starts with the colors here and then ends up on the Cerro Pardinal over there, hopefully,
Didn't
because
quite
it
make
shoots a
it
time lapse of 180
It didn't
degrees.
make it to the
Now,
Cerro.
once I turn the camera on, you'll see the little head go up and down. That's telling me there. And I got to press this 3 times so it's not in selfie mode. And then I got to connect it to the smartphone. And it'll come up there.
I didn't know we were shooting a lesson on using the pocket.
May as well. We've shown them how to fly a drone. and-
It's asking me which device here. There we are. Okay. So you can see I've got it out there. I want to set up the gimbal so it's just right there. You can see the tripod right there. We're going to lock that onto the tripod.
The river that I was trying to remember. I remembered it.
So it has a nice stable
told you you'd
platform.
forget
I'm
it
going to
again
give
if
it
you
two
I wrote it
little
down.
pings. And then I wish my glasses didn't go dark.
Even though I bought them to do that.
Okay, there we are in time lapse.
Yes, you did.
And it should be 2 seconds, 30.
Yes, you should bring along an old
Okay,
pair of
and
glasses.
I don't know if you can see it.
They're in the
Keep your
glove
camera on the
compartment.
gimbal head and it'll turn to the left. Because I've already I already told it I want to swing from left to right. And then it'll just start the 30-minute time lapse. So I don't have to do anything else but press that button right there. There we go. So we'll just let that sit for 30 minutes without bumping the tripod. And when we finish that, we'll be ready to head home. So we'll shoot an outro when we're in the truck.
Stratus clouds.
Can you?
It doesn't matter because,
It's stabilized.
yeah.
3, 2, 1, and.
We spent a beautiful day at the Ghost Ranch. It was almost warm. It wasn't warm, but it was not too cold, not windy, just a beautiful day. And we got to see the paleontology and anthropology museums. They're not very big, so you could get through both of them in a half an hour if you're in a hurry, or if if you have kids with you or something. Just a couple of small museums, some artwork. Gives you an idea of what's been found in the area, like the coelophysis. Say it different every time. Coelophysis,
Coelophysis.
the
That's right.
official fossil of the state of New Mexico. So we had a great day, and we had to come back to get into the museums, but I think it was a good thing. We had a good, really beautiful day, so I think it was a good thing, and we got a lot more pictures, so I'm happy about that, and we can put those on our website, so we're looking forward to doing that.
So in addition, we got some drone work done. We got a time lapse done, not only on the hood cam, but right here in front of the facility, so you can see some of the beautiful colors today. My only regret was not being able to find a book on the paleontology and the archeology of the area. But what interested me is the two museums are named after the women who did most of the work here. One was a trained archaeologist. The other was not a trained paleontologist, but she dedicated the rest of her life to the paleontology of this area. So I was very impressed, and that's why those museums are named after women. So that's all we got for today. We're going to head back. May stop by the cafe at the Abiquiu Inn to get another BLT, and then you guys will see all of this in the video. We hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
We did.
We did.
We did.
We had a good time. I think it was very relaxing. When we sat there and watched the time lapse, we had a nice conversation, just sitting on the tailgate of the truck and having some coffee and just taking it easy. Some woman came up and started talking to us because we were just sitting there having such a good time. She didn't want to be left out of it, I think. So she wanted to know what are you doing?
What are you guys doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just
So was there some questions to answer?
yeah, let's go. So Mary, here's the funny part about that period. The Triassic preceded that period in which the dinosaurs the big dinosaurs grew bigger between 200 million years ago and 65 million years ago. That's when they expanded and grew into those monstrous sizes. Most of the dinosaurs in the Triassic, especially around this area, weren't that big. The biggest thing was that alligator that you saw. And so there wasn't a bigger dinosaur to chase them into it, and it wouldn't have chased all of them. I mean, there are literally hundreds of fossilized skeletons on top of each other in this quarry. So
I thought my hypothesis was probably spot on.
they were avoiding the aliens.
The aliens had landed, and then they were like taken off, and the dinosaurs were all, "Oh, let's get the aliens!" And the aliens went.
What did the aliens do? What did they do?
Well, they had landed.
Landed.
Yeah.
What kind of word is that?
Landed.
All right.
Because they wanted to seed the earth with their peoples.
Well, the important thing about this
it wasn't time yet,
that's why we're here.
Because there were still dinosaurs.
Yeah, they didn't survive. They landed. They came here. They ate the small dinosaurs and grew up with the bigger dinosaurs. And then in the end, the biggest dinosaurs ate the aliens. So
that's what happens.
Okay. Lorraine says, my grandchildren will love this. Lorraine, you would love this place. We thought it was really interesting. It was the exhibits were really well designed, very easy to understand. John says, I watched Jurassic Park. Be careful, that museum. The electricity goes out. Run. Wouldn't have taken that. Oh, Izzy Travel was that app that we talk about. It's really kind of cool. You can look up locations, and they have the people narrating what's in the locations. The one for the Paleontology Museum is one of the professors, one of the doctors that's actually the director of that museum, and he walks you through all the exhibits. So you could actually take that with you. You can download it like a podcast, and you can walk through the exhibits with an expert explaining to you what each one of them is.
It's got the picture of what you're seeing and the explanation of it. So it's really good.
I thought there were some questions up here. Diatomaceous, we got that straightened out. Oh, that guy she's talking about. Wow, the customer service. So that guy in the Anthropology Museum, I don't know whether he was sick or hungover, because it was one or the other. And he was just in terrible spirits. And I could tell just by the way he was sitting there. He was leaned over, he was hunched over, he was holding his head. And I asked him if he was, you heard me ask, are you okay? And that's when he said he'd only been employed for 3 days, and he was very discouraged at the lack of organization and things like this. He looked like he was having a real bad day. I think he treated us as politely as he could have, considering the state that he was in. I actually felt sorry for him. So do I take my fishing stuff? Fishing for me is like a dedicated sport. If I'm going fishing, I go fishing. I don't do anything else. And it's the same thing, Shelley's investing time. We're going out, we're spending money on gas and food. And so I try to focus on getting the shot. You see me with, 5 different kinds of cameras and ideas for drone shots and time lapses and things. So I try to focus on getting the best possible footage that I can. So although we pass by the Chama and the Rio Grande and the Pecos and all the other rivers that I fish in, I don't bring my equipment along because if I wanted to fish, I would go, and in the same way that I'm dedicated to getting these shots, I would spend the day fishing. And for some people, that's just not as exciting. Shelley likes what we do on our trips. She likes participating in it. She likes collecting the footage. If we were to go fishing, I don't think she would enjoy it as much, simply because I guess you could fish, right? You've fished before, haven't you?
Yeah, I remember that one time we went together, and I actually caught a fish, but we had just put the pole out there in the river, and fish caught itself.
So I think fishing it was like my father.
Teeny tiny fish.
I don't ever remember my mother going fishing with us. She'd go, if we went someplace, it was for a picnic, like we'd go to Monastery Lake on the monastery at Pecos. But when it was fishing, it was either my dad alone or me and my dad, and we fished, and we caught as much as we could. The limits back then were 12 per person. Now I think they're like 4 or 5 if you're lucky, if you can get that much, and they're all small. They're all stocked fish. So So I don't take the equipment along any more than I would take the gold prospecting equipment along when we were doing this. This is for me. This is, this is why I'm here. I'm here to get the shot, and I really enjoy that work. Yes, Mary, she is a she because the voice in the remote control is a female.
And
So-
Alexa's jealous.
And Alexa's back there talking to me. Oh, she wants me to take my medicine. It's 9 o'clock. She seems a little flighty. Yeah, she's a little flighty because she's up 400 feet in that drone. I don't think she has a name. It's not like Siri and where you can ask them a question. If you want to talk to the remote control, you use buttons and menus. You don't talk to the remote control.
Old-fashioned
Although I
that
imagine,
way.
although I imagine sooner or later, but she has some features. There are some features like she can prevent me from launching in an area that I'm not supposed to be flying. Like if I'm within 5 miles of a major airport, she can tell me that she's locked in my landing location before I take off. She can tell me that when I'm getting too far away, that you're getting out of radio range. And if I somehow manage to lose that control, if I fly literally out of radio range, she'll turn around and come back to where she launched. So the intelligence in these late model drones is really amazing. Not to mention the software that keeps you in flight, that keeps you below 400 feet, that keeps you away from any kind of trouble. And now it uses what's referred to as TCAS. That means if I come within 500 feet of another aircraft, whether it's a drone, a helicopter, or an airplane, and they have TCAS on and they have to fly it, it starts telling me there's a plane. It's a mile away. It's a half mile away. It'll suggest that I drop below my 400 feet maximum and even land if the aircraft is coming. We were doing Shelley. Shelley's husband asked me to shoot their roof because we had a storm and it had taken some tiles off their roof and he wanted to see what the damage was so he could repair it. Shingles, I'm sorry. And we were right in the middle of that flight and I started getting a warning that there was an aircraft, and I don't know, 3 minutes later, the aircraft, it was way above us. Their minimum is 500. Our maximum is 400. So it's unlikely that you're going to crash. It's it is more possible with a helicopter, but we get warnings right away. It's very sophisticated in that way. Shoot first, ask questions later. It's kind of been my strategy, although it's got me in trouble a couple of times, mostly overseas. So yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. A drunk Native American sheriff pulling out his .357 six shooter and aiming it at in the direction of my drone. It was, a quarter mile away from him. He wouldn't have hit it. Let's see. No, it didn't look like winter. The only thing that it can tell you it's winter is there's no green. The trees are all gray. They're, leafless and
There
they're
had
gray.
been snow the week before. but
Right,
just
and
in
it
the
snowed-
shady places.
And it snowed this week again. I mean, northern New Mexico has gotten a lot of snow this week. We don't. The funny part about where I live in Bernalillo, it's the most mild weather I've ever had living in New Mexico. Santa Fe, I used to get much more snowy weather. Let's see. The movie Toby has not seen. I think I saw part of it. I don't know which one that is.
The city slickers.
So here, Mary Green, I know I've remembered the name. It's the Kanawha, Kanawah, which is a Native American name. I don't know the Eastern tribes. The Yuccogainee I know is different. It also goes through West Virginia, but I was in the Yuccogainee. It was whitewater rafting on the Yuccogainee in Pennsylvania. So we did a whole day's worth of whitewater rafting on the Yuccogainee. It was great. That was years ago, of course. Much younger. I was much younger. No, I'm going to prove to you. Look at this, Nomadic Madman. So this is us last week or week before. This was us on the 7th, right? And you can tell because I'm wearing a plaid shirt and Shelley's wearing what is that?
That's a hoodie.
Yeah,
That's under
but there's
it's a black hoodie.
Cerro Pedernal in the
Pedernal.
background. Pedernal in the background. So it wasn't last week. We have two different videos. You'll have to go look at the other one because they are two different videos. So this is the book that I found. It's called The Little Dinosaurs of Ghost Ranch by Dr. Edwin Harris Colbert of the Museum of Northern Arizona. Now, I don't know whether you heard Shelley was reading one of the one of the plates in the Paleontology Museum, and it mentioned that the woman for whom the museum is named actually learned by listening to the presentations given by, and the name that they used on the plate was E.H. Ned, quote mark, Ned Harris. And Colbert, I'm sorry, E.H. Ned Colbert. And he was the guy that I found that had written the book on the paleontology of that particular area. And you can see the little dinosaurs. There are no big dinosaurs in this area because it was the Triassic rather than the Jurassic. Let's see. I was born and partially raised in the Valley of the Sun. Isn't that in Arizona? That's in your area, right?
The one right before it. He asked me, did I grow up watching the Wallace and Ladmo show? Yep.
She sure did. Let's see.
And the Salt River Navy Band and Gerald. Don't forget Gerald.
What is it your dad or Kevin's dad that was the Salt River
Project Watermaster?
Watermaster. Was that Kevin or
Kevin's dad?
Kevin's dad. Yeah. And the Salt River is one of those rivers that I've always wanted to kayak down because it looks like it's a lot of fun. Apparently, what messes it up is they also allow inner tubers in there. And what I've learned about inner tubers is A, they're always drunk, and B, they leave a mess behind.
Yeah, but it's a very slow river. So,
yeah. I think that's why they allow the inner tubers. Disney did a movie which now is controversial, showing lemmings fall off the cliffs. And the reason Mary concluded was Disney chased them off the cliff. Actually, it was dinosaurs that chased the lemmings off the cliff.
Maybe it was El Fego de Baca.
El Fego Baca. Day trips. Yes, this is one of two museums at Ghost Ranch. One is the Museum of Anthropology, which has a bit of archaeology, and the other is the Museum of Paleontology, which is why we wanted to go back there. I think that is it in terms of questions. Did I get everybody's questions answered?
I don't know. Go down to the bottom and see if any new ones popped up.
Okay, let me check. Nope, we're back at the bigger dino. Yeah, Triassic didn't have the big dinosaurs. It was a Jurassic, which was much later. I mean, if you measure, think about it. We always say like it was after the 200 million year period. And you're going like 200 million years. The dinosaurs, the Jurassic dinosaurs, were on the face of the planet from 200 million years ago to 65 million years ago. That means they had 135 million years to develop. Let me put that in context. Humans, in their current human form, have been around for 200,000 years. 200,000 years compared to 135 million years. That is 10 orders of magnitude. Is that 10 orders of magnitude? 3 orders of magnitude. No. It's a big number. So
coelophysis.
Is that it? Coelophysis. We finally figured out. We were both pronouncing it. We were pronouncing it differently from one another, and we were both wrong. It took us till the end of the visit to the museum to figure out. I think Shelley figured it out first.
Yeah, because it said how to pronounce it.
It had to pronounce it. Coelophysis. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's what he looks like right there.
Yep.
Little coelophysis.
Very long and skinny.
Okay, that's it for tonight. And I'm going to get out of the comments. I'll come back to the comments in case you guys make anything else. I'm going to turn off that, and I'm going to go to the brand to get ready to
take the comment off the screen.
Oh, checks. I got to go back to the comment, take it off the screen, don't I? Hide that comment. There we go. I wish I knew what that was.
It's a notification that you need to turn off. But we'll work on it after the show.
Right. So, got the banner down, going to bring, got the outro.
We'll be back tomorrow night, 7:00, with our live stream of the unboxing of the garage prospecting equipment. And I don't even know what's in there because Toby's the one that ordered it, and I haven't seen any of it yet. So looking forward to finding out what's inside those boxes.
It's garage prospecting.
And it's on the old Gypsy's Kiss channel. So if you were subscribed to there and you didn't unsubscribe, then you're still subscribed.
We'll be on every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Yep. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Until I get to another phase, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, but imagine how much you'll learn about prospecting for gold
Hooray.
and the equipment.
Yeah. All right. So next week, well, actually Friday, we plan to go to Los Alamos and check out the Bradbury Science Museum. And there's a welcome center there that's run by the county, I think it is.
Mhm.
And there's some other historical places up there as well. So we're going to take a look and see what's what. And then we'll bring back some videos and share that with you.
Yeah, and it's been in the. It's going to. It has been and will continue to be in the low 30s during the daytime up there. It's been a cold
That's
winter
why we
for
plan
us.
to be mostly indoors.
Yeah, I think we're going to do indoors. Then I think we're going to go down to Socorro and visit the New Mexico Mineral Museum. Yeah, it's a big mineral museum down there. So we're going to be doing some indoor stuff over the winter. We were very fortunate to have this great day at Ghost Ranch, but there's been some pretty cold. Shelley's got to wrap up kind of days. We had one of those
Just
at
me, huh?
El Malpais. So we'll try to do indoor things here for a while until it starts warming up again.
Yep. That's the plan.
All right.
That's
Anything
all
else
got
before
for
we say our
tonight,
goodbyes?
And we appreciate you showing up and hanging out with us and asking questions about our trip. We, we love to share what knowledge that we have. And if we don't have knowledge, we'll make stuff up, aliens and all that. Tell a good story.
Tell a good story. It's more important to tell a good story, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow night if you're around and you'd like to learn more about prospecting for gold, even if it's in your garage. Until then, we love you.